We have breaking news. The suspect in the Georgia school shooting that left 4 people dead is appearing in court for the first time. That 14-year-old student is charged with 4 counts of felony murder, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation expects more charges to follow. His father is also now charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. But again, this is the suspect himself, the suspected shooter, in court right now there in Georgia. Let's listen.
Provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters. And I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations, well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney, and he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or a jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray, and alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
Can we go to 10?
All right, with that, I understand that we have another first appearance hearing, and I think that we're going to have a little bit of a recess before we conduct that, unless everyone's ready to proceed with that.
We're ready.
I think that I told the media outlet that I would recess briefly to allow them to kind of reconfigure what they're doing, and so we'll be in recess for a short time until I'm informed that everyone's ready. All right? Thank you.
We are looking at the courtroom there in Winder, Georgia, where the suspect in the Georgia school shooting just went before the judge. The judge started things off by informing that 14-year-old defendant of his rights and of the charges against him. He's being charged as an adult with 4 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of 2 students and 2 teachers at that school. The judge informed him those penalties are punishable by death or a life sentence with or without parole if he is convicted. Currently, the defense is not requesting bond, so it looks like that suspect will remain in custody. And we also now know his father is also facing charges. We will have a lot more on this case coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Stay with us.